Evening. It, of course, is Coach Erica, also known as Coach China, also known as Arthur China T. And all of that's all together. Coach, Arthur, all of it goes together. I coach, I write, it goes hand in hand. So we're going to move past all of that. And what we're going to do today is we go live every day. Today, we're gonna jump back into our topic of never date just one, because we're never gonna not have that topic. That's gonna always be the topic. Yesterday's video, we talked about the reason for the book, how it will look when you start properly roster dating, how you eventually get to the part where the person is deemed the one, because you had several options to compare it to, and so now you know exactly what you want. So we went through that yesterday when we was on live. If you missed that, catch that video on YouTube. The link is in the bio. Go to YouTube and catch that video that you missed. I'm sorry, I'm massaging my foot, and catch up. But today we're gonna move into our next topic, because now that we have the backstory to the reason why I wrote this book, now I want to go ahead and talk about the purpose. I told you why I wrote it, but the purpose is to break a pattern. And the pattern that I want to break is a pattern for women who has ever been left waiting for a text, wondering why their effort isn't mutual. This is for the women who's ever made someone their priority, being treated as an option in return. Okay, if you've ever struggled with knowing how to take a step back when you see inconsistencies, or you don't know how to balance multiple connections with multiple men because you feel overwhelmed, this is the purpose for Never Date Just One. The entire series, the book, everything was to go back. Now, disclaimer: we have dating coaches like Anwar. We have Shira. Shira's not a dating coach. She just her title is just to help women just learn their worth. She doesn't have any type of coach, counselor, anything in her repertoire, in her experience. All she has is what worked for her. So while a lot of the lessons that she have are practical and they should have been used and they should work, for a lot of times they won't work for every woman. It's not impossible, but don't think just because it worked completely for her that it's going to work for you. Okay. So when we talk about dating coach Anwar is talking about how do you all to be able to connect with the better quality men. He's telling you about the hairstyles that attract certain types of men, the places, the type of clothes. He's telling you about the other races of men that are looking for black women and things of that nature. He's going to go, his dating advice is always going to be different from Shira's, because it's going to be similar in some aspects, as to not put all your eggs in one basket and not move too fast. But it's going to differ in the fact that, Shira has a different way of looking at things, again, because she saw what worked for her, and then Anwar himself sees what worked for him. All right, so now we got the purpose of never date just one. Now let's talk about the current state of dating. In order for you to get behind roster dating, you have to know what the current state of dating is, and this is it. There is more women than there is men. That's for a few different reasons. The very first reason being mass incarceration. Okay, when we talk about American men, and I can't talk about men in other countries because I only live in America. When we talk about America itself, there are a lot of men in prison. Way more men in prison than it is in women in prisons, but there are a lot of men in prisons. So mass incarceration throughout the U.S. Literally takes the available men count down to thousands, hundreds of thousands, okay? So now you're dealing with a different pool, because there are a lot of men that are locked up for a lot of different reasons, and things from battery to robbery, all the way up to murder and things of that nature. Some of them can be considered lower less offenses, and then there was the one that are exaggerated and too much going on. But mass incarceration takes away from the available men for the available women. Then we also have the men that prefer other men. Okay, it is 3 types of those. There are the ones who are actually 4 types. There's the ones who are outright homosexual. They want everybody to know they're homosexual. They do not care. They may be flamboyant and all, but they do not care. Then you have those that are down low. They don't want anybody to know they like the other man. They will hide it. It is an embarrassment. They're the down low ones. Then you have the ones that just prefer to have sex. They just like to have sex with men, but they don't consider themselves gay. Okay, they don't deal with that. They don't consider that, but they just like the way it feels when they have sex with men. And then you have the bisexual men, the ones who like to go with the women and the men. More times than not, they're probably gonna have more experiences with men than they are with women. But those are a part of the next bunch that takes away from the available men out here for women. Okay, so we have mass incarceration. Next thing that we have the homosexual men, the men that like other men in whatever capacity. After that, after those two subsets, then we have the last subset of just emotionally unavailable men, financially unavailable men. So emotionally and financially unavailable. On top of them, they have a lot of mental health issues. So that takes away from the available pool of decent men. Okay, so you're dealing with a smaller pool of men. Even though it's millions, it's still less than what it is for the women. Okay, and it might not even be millions. It might be just some extra higher number, thousands. But there are more women than men available. Okay, now on top of that current trend of data, we got to also look at this culture of the sneaky link. That has been a big downside to dating, because you have people that are willing to be secrets and go hunch in the dark or behind everybody's back. Don't want families. They don't want the typical relationship. They're not trying to do any of those things. They just want to be able to exchange sexual energy. And maybe one person is emotionally deeper than the other person. But however it is, it's not a real union. It's just temporary for the temporary benefit of whatever somebody is providing somebody. Okay. The sneaky link culture that has taken away from a lot of the options that women can have, because you have men that will opt to be your side dude or your sneaky link, because hunching you comes with no problems. It's no hassle. Okay. Versus getting with a woman who wants to be dated, courted, and all that stuff before she gets up the draws. So yes, a man is going to opt to go with a sneaky link quicker than he's going to go with one that requires effort. So that too takes away from the pot of men that are available. Then there's a new reality. Women who are proclaiming that they no longer want to date. Okay, so well, no. Before that reality, then the last thing that is to take away from available men. And this is for women of all races, because you just have to think about it, but more so for the black women. Black men are going to women of other races. Men of other races are going to women in other countries. So the pool has also lessened, because we have what we call our passport bros, who like to go out of the country and go find wives that can barely speak English, that are younger, that just want to, for the benefit of making them have children, make them become single parents in the marriage, for them to continue to frolic throughout the U.S. and do whatever it is they need to do, because they have made themselves believe that U.S. women are too combative and too catty and too argumentative and nag too much. And they can't claim that we bad communicators, yet they go to a whole nother country, get a whole nother woman who can't barely speak English and horrible communication skills, and they'll deal with that. So that all of those things add to the less amount of men available for women. So now that will make it a great thing for those men that are out there so-called dating, or just running up and through here and just having sex where they want to be. It makes it great for them, because now they get to have way more options than they normally than they had a long time ago. Way more options than women. So that brings us to the table where we feel like we have to share, become girlfriend wives or sister wives or whatever, right? Or we just gonna be the side chick and he got a main, and we're not gonna care. But the main wife or woman or girl don't know. We are subjecting ourselves as women in a whole to become the other option for a man that probably can't even make sure the first option is completely fully taken care of, but now he wants to have several options because he feel like he can. And then those are the women who allow him to have those several options without asking him or requiring him to do anything, with no emotional investment. He may be given a little bit of quality time, a little bit of financial help, but not enough for you to throw it to the dogs and not have no options but that man. So that's the current state of dating. When you understand the fact that there are more women than men, and you try to say, okay, well, how am I going to be able to roster date if it's more men than women? Because they can clearly do it, and they do it. Matter of fact, they roster hunch. They roster sex because they don't date nothing. They ain't about taking nobody nowhere to get no food. They want to smoke you out, get you drunk, and hunt you right then and there. So they like the roster hunch, okay? You need to roster date. That is the reason why it is going to work for you versus it working for that man. And let me tell you why. He gonna run through enough girls or women or young ladies in his area. And once women start doing all the talking and it's a whole lot of fighting and mess going on, and his reputation is ruined. The same way they claim that women's reputation is ruined when the guy go around and telling everybody we slept with him and everything we did to him, that man reputation is ruined because now you become a liability and a problem to a lot of women. Whereas Jasmine thought she had somebody. Jasmine got in 4 fights with Yandy, and now neither one of them want to deal with him no more. But he think he the man. So don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they have options, but guess what? Their options run out because they don't know how to handle the multiple people they have, and they're not honest with it. Roster dating requires you to be honest. You have to let all parties involved up front know that you are dating multiple people. And the reason for this is so that you don't get your feelings involved too soon with just the first person that comes along and shows you whatever. And then this person don't get their feelings involved too soon. Or make that person step up and do more and put more effort in so that they can go ahead and get the grand prize. What is that? If it's your heart, then it's you. Because you are the prize. But you have to make him believe that you are. And he can't believe that you are the prize if he is the only option. You ain't saw one prize or only one contestant. One game show with one contestant to have one winner. You've never seen that throughout the history of times of competition. There was never one football team going for the Super Bowl. Never one basketball team going for the basketball championship. There are competitors. They dwindle them down. May the best woman, may the best man, may the best team win. That's what you're doing. May the best man win. That is roster dating. The man who puts in the most effort, the man who shows that he cares, he is going to be the winner. King of your throne. He would not have gaslighted you. He would not have run amok over your heart. You know why? Because you've given yourself a time to learn him without the sex. Because see, you know, when you have sex too soon, that's when representatives show up. They the ones who get the sex out of you. They talk to you all good, tell you everything you want to hear, spend time with you, just all type of sweet stuff. Then you have sex. Then when you do that, the representative clock out, go home forever. The real version shows up. And then he starts acting funny. And now you're back to square one. The current state of dating, more women than men can still work in your favor on a roster. Okay? So now we got the current, we have talked about the reason behind the book being written and how it will look when you roster date. We have talked about the purpose of roster dating, applying it to your life, and now we've talked about the current trend in dating. So that you are kept abreast, so that you know what you're going up against if you are going to take this journey serious to never date just one. That is the movement. That is where we are. In order to get the results that you need for your love life and for you to stop putting your heart out there for everybody to get, put your heart back in your chest, lock it up, put it on your sleeve. See, the heart on the sleeve does one thing and one thing only. It allows things to roll off you and don't affect you. See, when you keep this open and everybody gets to get to the heart and get to the heart, you're going to have fingerprints, wounds, cuts, all type of stuff because you're letting everybody get here. But when you put this in, lock and key this up until the right person comes along, trust me, you will know who he is when it's time. But until that time, put your heart on your sleeve and let that shit roll off you. Roster dating. Current trends in dating. If you want to win in dating, you cannot know he is the one if he is the only one. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're going to be here again tomorrow for another live session. And we'll be talking about healing past trauma, because that's the next part of us being able to adequately roster date when we heal past trauma. And a past trauma can come from a couple of different things that we're going to discuss tomorrow. Make a reminder. I'll see you then.